Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to the episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I am super excited today to come to you with another great guest interview for you. The busy season, it's tough to get guest interviews on. It's tough to get schedules lined up, but this is one that I'm really excited for. You're going to get a ton of value out of this. I'm going to get a ton of value out of this. I hope Pat gets a ton of value out of this, and we just get to continue to grow friendships, grow relationships, and grow the community as well. We have none other than Pat Murray from Local Roots on today. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. So pumped to be here. Good to finally be here and just chat with you. And after Detroit, just good to put all this together. So thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. I'm super excited. It's gonna be an awesome time. It's gonna be one that you just listen for the whole show, guys. Like, don't leave early. Me and Pat are gonna get into some good stuff today. I already know it. We're gonna pitch and catch. We're gonna go back and forth. He's going to tell us a little bit about Local Roots, what they got going on up there, him and his business partner, Ken. Just stand up, guys. Like, it's just amazing. I got to see you and Ken in Detroit for LAL. Saw Ken again at the Mastermind up there with Mark, and so got to talk to him even more in depth. And it was just an awesome time getting to know you, meet you, and talk more in depth. And really, I appreciate your time coming on, appreciate your advice that you're going to get to share. And so, Pat, take it away, buddy. I want to hear from you. Give us the rundown on Local Roots, the whatever version you want to give, the simplified, the in-depth, whatever. And then we're just going to talk through some things today, like that guys are going to run into along the way. Before we even hit record, we were talking through an incident that happened, and it's like I literally just asked you, did you feel like your company was falling apart? And those are the kind of conversations we're going to get into today, so I'm excited. Take it away, buddy.
Yeah, man. No, thanks. And you keep thanking me for being here, but I do thank you for just not only having me, but also just putting this podcast on, man. I love just you and Caleb and everyone else and what they're doing to the industry and for the industry, and how much you're providing value for people at such a wide reach. That's just really, really, really cool. And we've gotten to see that in our coaching as well, that there are just so many people out there who are craving learning and doing good for the world. They just don't know where to start and how to do it. And so just being able to facilitate that in whatever large or small way you can, just feels good. Feels like you're able to do something very good for even very specifically for our industry, which we would all say are just people who are just good people, man. And so it's cool to get to partner with you in that, right? So thank you for I guess harnessing that and being an advocate. So yeah, man. So with that, I'm Patrick. I'm one of 3 partners now at Local Roots Landscaping. Company is 40% owned by me, 40% by Kenneth Deemer, and then 20% by Rob Friedenberger. He's a partner that we took on last year, a little over a year ago at this point. We will be wrapping up our 10th year in business at the end of this year, and it has been a roller coaster. It's been a lot of fun. We started, those of you who've listened before, we started in 2014 out of the back of my Honda Civic. We were doing 52,000 in gross sales, left a meager $7K, I think, for me and Ken each to either split or each. I'm not sure. I can't remember. That year we were sleeping on my parents' couches, just really making it work. Right. And we had no employees for the first, I want to say 1 to 3 years. And then from there, we started picking up slowly and surely off the friend and family plan, an employee here and there. And really, we're just from that point on growing our business. So we were growing, and what growth meant to us was more inputs for more outputs. And we just kept putting more in and more in and more in until we really realized there's only so much of the human being that can go into something and only so many hours of the day. So we had a pivot point somewhere around the $2.5 to $3 million mark where we realized we had to start scaling. And that was where we started spending a lot of our time, instead of being in the field, on systems and on actually like hiring and on finding people who would be better at us at building, at managing, and all these things. And then that scale pivot is really what turned us into what we are today, which is around an $8 million company with 55 plus employees now. And again, that's 10 years later, and that's through blood, sweat, tears, pain. I mean, you name it, right? No, I'll say rarely is a growth story pretty. And I think that's something that we always try to really paint that image to with our coaching clients, with our employees, with people on podcasts like this, just to be real and share, like there's a lot of excitement, a lot of fun in growth and in scale. But you have to be like kind of open to the hardships and pain and frustrations and lack of control that also comes with it. So that's a different version of who Local Roots is, right? We are an energetic firm up in Pittsburgh. We only have one location right now. We have absolute stellar employees. I mean, from the ground up, we have just amazing people with really, really good hearts, people who hang out outside of work, who help each other out with, finances and time and volunteering. I mean, it's truly a community that we have going. And I couldn't be more thankful. We have middle management that is second to none. They are heavy hitters. They are incentivized off of our growth and profitability. And it's a cool feeling. Like when you walk into the Local Roots facility, it's just very dynamic, very fun. And I'm a proud owner. I'll say that.
That's amazing. That sitting here and like listening to the pride in your voice when you say that, I'm a proud owner. Like you seriously own that. And it's very evident. You can tell that. And so that's very encouraging for me to hear that, like, you can get to that point, right? Like we're in the very beginning, early stages of growth, and we're figuring out what it takes to get to new heights, bring people in, add culture, all the things that go with that. And there are times when cash flow sucks and you're like, what the freak? How am I going to make payroll this week and next week and 3 weeks from now? Then it's like, it is hard to like own that with a proud voice of like, I am a proud owner of my company. And I think it kind of drives me sometimes too. Like it drives me to continue. Like I do want to get to that point where it's like, I'm fulfilling what I want to fulfill. Like we're rocking and rolling and firing on all cylinders. And so, yeah, there's going to mess ups. Like Local Roots isn't a perfect company. It's not the end all be all, but you probably got a lot of stuff good going for you. And like you said, it's not without literally blood, sweat, and tears. And so you've got a good story to tell, like I do on your hand there. There's been all kinds of things come along the way. Like you said, the other story with injuries of employees, like those are just all growth processes that you go through. Yep. You said something that is probably going to be the show title. Growth stories aren't pretty. Go back to the beginning and walk through the first like 5 years of growth, if you can remember that stage. Like it's different. I know that it's hard to, when you get to a certain phase and certain point in business, it's like, and just in life, you think back 3, 5, 7 years, like what was happening then? Best you can, those first 5 years in business, or really just take the timeline out of it. The first the first $0 to $1 million, like that range of just what is happening? Like what is happening? How are we hiring? How are we getting people in here? How are we getting the workflow coming in? Just that whole process. You say it wasn't pretty. I believe it wasn't pretty because there's been parts of our process that hasn't been pretty. Just expand on that a little bit and talk to me about some things that maybe you did wrong during that process that you would say, I don't want to do that. I would not recommend you do that moving forward.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It's funny, as soon as you said like first 5, I'm like, oh, okay, let's think about this. And I just wrote down the gross revenues off the top of my head that were those first 5. And not because that matters, but for me, those numbers tell a story, and I'm able to click back into what my mindset was there and to see trends, right? So I'll go from 0 to 5, or year 1 to year 5. And it was in revenue, 52,000, 200,000, 350, and then around 300 actually. So you'll see a regression. There's a story behind that. And then 600. And then from there it went 1.7, 2.2, 3.8, 6 plus, right? So like that was where you can see like the skyrocket happen there. But in year 1 through 5, let's chat. So it's basically 52 through 650, something like that, right? 52 was classic. I mean, I met some people in the LAL breakout room there where, it's kind of a side hustle, but they're getting serious about it. We went from my Honda Civic to a clapped out Toyota Tacoma to a Toyota Tundra, right? It was like just like going through stuff like that. And we were a jack of all trades. We were painting, we were pressure washing. I mean, look at our Instagram back then. It's still there. It's kind of fun. If you scroll into the bottom, you'll see everything we did. I remember literally like we were removing hot tubs, like you name it. We were your guys, right? But we were a landscaping company, and it was just me and Ken all day, every day working together. And the goal was just to be able to work enough to have our winters off, right? We love traveling, and man, we hustled. I mean, we were working, 10 to 12 hour days, 7 days a week. And that was growth, right? And what growth meant for me back then was new people or neighbors saying, hey, can you please mow our lawn, right? That was growth. Like, oh my goodness, these people love us. Like, they see what we're doing. And we did a great job, right? It wasn't like we weren't shysters. We were out there hustling, and that was growth to us, right? And every day we would come back into the truck, and or not every day, every yard. And I would split the money up. We would just split cash or checks. It was my personal bank account, I think, at the time. I'd write him a check to get him even for the week or whatever. I mean, truly hodgepodge, right? But growth was like, I don't know, how much more are we working? That was actually growth, because at first it was like, we only have 15 yards.
Yep.
That's X amount of hours a week. Oh no, we need 40, 50, 60, 70 hours. We're filling a schedule. We're filling a week, right? Growth was, I remember I went out for breakfast or lunch with my grandma, and I was like, we're working 7 days a week now. It's insane. I don't know what to do, but like, I felt like I had made it. Like, that's what you would do whenever you grow to a certain point, right? Yeah. And she was like, oh, it's great. Congratulations. I didn't really know what else to say there, but I was able to have breakfast with her, which was awesome. No regrets there at all. Then getting into the next year, true growth, seeing like, hey, we 4X our revenue. And I remember bragging about that. Yeah, we're 4X, 52 to 200. And like, that is, I mean, that's a big accomplishment, right? Yeah, you definitely feel that. And it was cool to see like hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue being generated, right? And it was still, I think it was me, Ken. I think we had a part-time worker back then, or maybe a summer helper, right, that was helping us with lawn mowing. And for us back then, growth was we split crews. So we had said, hey, we love working together, but I think it's really important that if we don't want to kill each other, like we don't want to be together every day, all day. So I handled the landscaping side of things, and Ken handled the mowing side of things. And we had split, and that was growth to us, right? We were able to like split up, divide and conquer, and kind of handle our own kind of separate areas of the business. And I think anyone who's a partner who's listening, I'm not saying we've done anything or everything correct, right? But I am saying that was a really cool like delineation of, hey, you own this and I'm going to own this. Like, I trust you on the lawn side and you trust me on the landscaping side. We'll still have overlap. We'll still have communication here, but like, how about you just check in with me? Or if I get a complaint about one of your clients, I'm going to pass it off to you and expect that you're going to handle that well, right? It really helps that we weren't stepping on toes and like almost like stealing from each other's area. We had lanes pretty clearly set from that point on. And that does translate as we've grown to areas where it's very clear whenever we're stepping on toes or invading on each other's spaces, right? But yeah, 200,000 we were doing. I mean, it was, I remember there was a vivid morning where I'm passing, Ken at 5 a.m. in the morning, and it was after we had just gotten done working at 8 p.m. with headlamps the night before, and we're beeping our horns as he's going to his job and I'm going to my job, and that was prior to employees. We were still solo, but we were both working separate crews, right? And we'd always say, oh, the lawn maintenance crew or the landscaping crew, and it was just one or the other, yeah. Right? But dude, it was nonstop. I was finishing probably $3,000 to $5,000 jobs in a day by myself, just 12, 15 tons of river rock. I mean, just everything with a shovel there.
You should have been racking some cash doing that solo.
I know. We definitely were. I don't know that my personal budgeting or finances were set up at the time. So I was probably we had a lot of fun after work as well. We were buying dirt bikes and going on trips. It was truly like bachelor life, just starting a business, really no boundaries there. So it was really fun.
Was this before or after you got stranded in a foreign country?
Yeah. So that was, let me think. Both after, yeah, because we started the company. Oh, hold on, no, yeah, that was after, because we went to Australia twice, but Australia was the first time was in college days. But then we did end up going again in year 3 and 4. You'll hear about, which was kind of fun. So that was in 14, 15, and then 16 would have been the 350 year. We had we were again 200,000 to 350. We were growing. We had a handful of employees at the time. We actually had bought our 3rd truck, which was our first crew without an owner on it. Yeah. So we actually grew enough to have that lawn maintenance crew take over. And then I went to hardscapes. Ken went to landscaping, and then we had our lawn maintenance crew there. So the growth here's a really cool part of growth for us. So I said it was the number of hours worked, right? Then it was in dividing and conquering was growth, right? And then growth in our 350 hour year 3 range, everyone was I would say growth in knowledge. And that might sound cliche or like, oh, I don't have time to learn while I'm, hustling and making money. But I remember saying, hey, we want to get into hardscapes, right? And I don't care if it's hardscapes or whatever other service you want to talk about. But I said, like, I've never worked for a hardscaping company. I've never worked for anyone in general, right? But I see that being our next step. How do I do that? And we hired a mentor on. We like stole him from whatever company. Like, please, I'll pay you whatever you need to be paid to teach me how to do this. Like, I need you to be my employee because I need you to get work done. But I don't know how to do anything. So I'll be your laborer as long as you're telling me what to do. So brought him on. He was like $18 an hour at the time. And I remember him, like, he would run jobs. He would like help me plan bids and all that stuff. But when he came to work, like, he was my employee. So there was an interesting power dynamic there, but I was willing to put down my pride so he could show me how to do base, right? And he wasn't in a rush. So when a wall would take twice as long as it had to take, he didn't care because he was my teacher and I was the one who was the student, right? I was learning. And so that year was complete learning. I mean, we were just like, I literally, like, that was all taking it in from him on how to do hardscapes, which then would allow me to do, I believe he worked for us for like a year and a half. And then I would pivot to then run hardscapes from that point on, right? But in that frame where we went from 350 to 300, that year 3 to 4, there was a distraction there. So this is also some caution I want to give people. So we saw money coming in, right? We had cash, like we were like sitting on cash. Our expenses weren't super high at the time. A couple truck loan payments, but we were like, okay, it's now time to diversify. We're a giant landscaping company, and this is where I'd say we didn't have the knowledge that we needed to see how big the industry was and how much was going on. We had thought we were the biggest fish in our sea, right? But we weren't expanding our knowledge past like our small ecosystem. So a podcast like this, going to things like the masterminds and LAL, that shows you perspective. Not that you want to be down on yourself for your size, but I think it humbles you to say, hey, there's a lot more here that this has to offer, right? So we said, hey, we've done everything we can in the landscaping, hardscaping space. Let's diversify. And we actually invested a bunch of money in a separate venture. I'll go into it for a second. It was a shrimp farm, dude. We invested in a shrimp farm in Ecuador. Okay, it sounds like a scheme because it was. We had a friend who from high school maybe wasn't the best resource to invest our money in. And 2 years later, everything failed. All that said, I think it's important to admit.
Are we talking like six-figure investments?
We're talking like $250,000. Yeah, man. Yeah. So all the savings that we had from the first 3 years, yeah, man, they're gone, and they were gone. And so, why I'm admitting that on air right now is because I think it's important. Like, we're vulnerable, right? And Ken will do the same thing.
So cool.
We didn't for a while. We wanted to like we weren't super proud of that, but I think the lesson there, and I would say like the lesson God wanted me to learn was like I wasn't ready for that type of. I'll say that type of investment or success to work out. There's a lot of money involved and a lot of like potential there, but it had shown me how like greedy I was. And it showed me how lazy I could become if money was there. Right. And I just wasn't the man that I had to be at the time to deal with that kind of business. And so all that said, we lost focus at Local Roots. So you would see that dip that happened there, right? We were super hands off. I was traveling to Ecuador multiple times a year. And it was fun, right? We were involved in like, what's that next sexy or fun thing that we want to get into that's going to make us rich quick, right? And that was a huge lesson to learn is that it's not the sexy work that gets you rich usually, right? Like niches make riches. And also like there's no get rich quick thing. And like I have unfortunately gotten into that even after that, where you're like, oh, super easy real estate investment, or oh, super easy this, like nothing. Rarely is something a super easy investment that gets you rich. Nothing
sustainable. Right? There's nothing sustainable that gets you rich. Like not long term. Like you could find some one-off thing here and there, but
no doubt.
Nothing sustainable.
Yep. So I don't want to take the whole mic here, but like
you take
basically.
It.
Okay, I'll keep going until you interrupt me. So 300 happens. We're like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? We're losing focus. Like, this isn't great. We're seeing a decline in that investment that we had. Like, and I remember the conversation with Ken. We're like, we need to like double down. Like, and it put a big fire under us. We're like, this is something we have control of. Local Roots we have people here who love their job. We have a reputation we build. It's something we can actually scale and do well. Let's put 110% focus in it and send it to the moon, right? And that's what happened. I mean, so one could say, hey, the shrimp, deficit or whatever you want to call it, actually is the cause of Local Roots' growth from year 4 on, right? And so Do I have regrets there? Maybe I do, right? We all do, but no, I actually don't. I actually thank God for that. Now I'm at a point now in my life where I say, thank you, God, for giving me that.
You're far enough removed from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 2 and 3 years afterwards, I don't think so. But so from there, year 5 was that 600,000 year, like sub 1 million, was when we said like, okay, we had structure in place. I had read The E-Myth for Landscape Contractors by it was like Tony Bass with Michael Gerber, right? Yep. That's a book I'll recommend to any person listening right now. Super simple read, and I would say I was reading on a beach that summer with on my family vacation, and I was in tears because he was like basically telling me the company I had. Any books that can speak to your heart like that, it's just unbelievable, and a lot of us can relate to that. And so from that point on, I started working on this, like systematizing my business, and I didn't even know what it was. I remember like I called his secretary, Tony Bass, who was there. I was like, can I get I just want to get a call with Tony to like figure out like, what does it mean to systematize my business? And I couldn't get through. She's like, give me these questionnaires. I'm like, no. Like, I tried to like interview her for it. Like it was multiple times to get like this idea of what it was. Right. And that's another thing, guys, like just ask questions, like be stupid. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you'll get laughed at, sometimes you'll get ignored, but we were just so persistent on just being hungry and trying to find those answers. Right. And so that started my whole, like, I would say my leadership through systems of, all things. That was when my Google Drive started going crazy. I'm creating SOPs and hiring systems. And every time I'm doing something, I'm creating a how-to on it. Right. And I couldn't imagine where I'd be if I had ChatGPT back then. It would have been like on fire, but in some ways it was kind of nice and cathartic to be able to do it myself, like word by word, each step of the process. I think that really helped my like brain to form into what it is today. Yeah, man. So like, that's how growth changed there. Right. So it was number of days filled on the schedule and hours, right? Then it was like diversification and breaking our crews apart, right? And then growth was, hey, let's diversify into a different business. That was actually incorrect. Saw the downfall in our revenue. And then growth became scale and systematization. Does that make sense if I were to give it, like break it down on a timeline? Yep.
No, that's amazing. Transitioning. So major growth happens there from 600 to a million plus. In that time, you obviously add employees. You have to start managing cash flow a little better at that point. You're bringing on equipment. You're bringing on all kinds of new overhead that comes into play. I want to talk financial stability a little bit. Like, what processes did you take? What steps did you take? What did you put in place? Was it that y'all were pricing correctly? Like, what was it that allowed you to get to that point and remain financially stable throughout the process of like, what, we're successfully putting money in the bank. We're also adding guys into staff. We're also taking paychecks. Like, because you're splitting it two ways. Like, you got a partner you're doing it with. You're not just keeping it all for yourself. So what all went into that, like establishing financial stability in the first 1 to 2 million of the company?
Yeah, no, great question. And I don't want people to just like tune out here if they're not there. Like, I want everyone to listen if they're at the 52 or 200 range, because
for sure.
I'm saying that the way I saw growth was actually incorrect in those levels. And if I would have been 52,000 and I would have seen systematization as growth meant, I would have been way more ahead, not just money wise, but way more ahead mentally, stability wise, all that stuff. Right. And so if I could go back, I would have said, hey, I would have been calling Tony Bass's secretary from day one, figuring out what it meant to systematize, and I would have been bidding this way. I'll tell you now, right? So stability, how were we bidding from years 1 through, we'll say 3.5 to 4? No, years 1 through 4, I think. Truly time and materials, iPhone note, not time and materials, like square foot pricing, guesstimates, asking people down to like yard of mulch is 115 installed and we'll figure it out. Plants are 3x markup. Like everyone knows, right? I still have iPhone notes. I'll send a random employee. Like, I have a former employee I'll send from like 2016. It has like our job costing on there. It was like the OG job costing, right? And I don't even know what I did with it, but we went to an LMN workshop, and that's why I'm saying I'm not even promoting LMN right now, even though y'all need a CRM period from year 1. We went there and I'm like, okay, I am decent at understanding my numbers. I have a P&L that I thought was accurate. I can go off this, but what does this mean to have a budget? What does it mean to estimate, right? And they like blew my mind with the like job cost estimating, right, that LMN uses. And y'all can do it on a spreadsheet. Like, it's not super hard. It's, you have your cost of goods sold percentage, your overhead percentage, and your profit markup. And you can plug stuff into a spreadsheet and get your pricing that you need. LMN just makes it extremely accurate and simple to use. So we started, building our jobs off of that. Like full stop, no more of our cowboying, job estimating. And we started doing our jobs that way. And from that point, it was a mix of that, Jeremiah. And then it was a declaration that Ken and I had, right? That we had said from years 1 through 4, we were willy-nilly pulling money out of the account. It would be, hey, write a check for distribution here. Like, there was no cost controlling there, right? So we started cost controlling and owner controlling from that point on, from that like $1 million point on, because you can't just like write yourself checks and like take money out and like treat it like your personal bank account. And that, again, I would have switched that from year 1. So any future business I own and create, I will treat it this way that I'm talking now, if that makes sense, right? And I coach this way to all my clients. And so we had agreed, we had a salary, and it was a super low salary. I mean, I don't want to say super low. It was a fine salary, but we didn't take a raise. I mean, even until a couple of years ago, like we just had a static salary at Local Roots, and we would take distributions, but it was very calculated and set. Like, hey, if we're profitable, we get 3% of this, right? It would like come out in those ways versus saying, hey, I feel good about the business. Let's just take it. There's money in the account. Let's take it out, right? We would have our bare minimum that was allowed to sit in the account at all times. So I don't care if that's 15K in your account, 100K, 500K, $1 million, like depending on the size of your business. We weren't allowed to go through that or below that threshold, right? And then we would split money once we had that threshold met, if that makes sense. But yes, I think, and I would say we weren't the best at saying like, hey, we need X amount in the threshold before we hire another employee. Usually we would say like, hey, the writing's on the walls. We need employees or else we can't keep up with our schedule or we're paying too much in overtime. So we're just going to hire. That was maybe less factual and more like, it was emotionally driven, but it was also like, it's here. Like I can prove this to you if you need proof, right?
That's where I'm at right now. That's big.
Okay. Yeah, it is big. That's with field staff. Now, overhead staff, okay, in the 1.3 to 3.8 range, that one, we got comfortable and we're like, oh, we need more help in the office. We need help with this. We need help with that. Let's just hire. There wasn't any proof. We didn't have clear metrics. That's different than field staff, right? Yeah. Field staff's easy, man. Revenue per man hour, you can calculate it. Super easy. Efficiency rate, if they're 80% or higher in their efficiency, yep, we can hire another one, right? Like that's what we need. But it's different when they're it's less tangible and you're like, I think this would help us to make more money. That's not a way to hire. And that's where I would say you need to bounce that off a mentor, off a calculator, or off a coach, right? Like, why are you hiring them? And so back to your original question of stability, I think cost controls are everything. And oh my gosh, not to get in the weeds, but I have a cash flow like spreadsheet I use as any client that needs it. It's gonna be like a 2-month outlook. You plug in your inputs, you plug in your what's coming out. Like you can see each beginning of each week how much money you're gonna have in your account, right? To show you like, hey, do I have enough for payroll? Do I need to borrow money? What's going on here, right? And the biggest thing that is the hardest thing for our clients and everyone to wrap their head around is like the set days of the week for payables. So like everyone just has random stuff coming out of their accounts all the time. Yeah. Which in 2020, I want to say, or 2021, our office manager came on. She's like, hey, this sucks the way you're doing this. Here's how you should do it. And we're like, okay, sounds good. So every Wednesday is when we pay our bills, right? Every Wednesday, vendors get paid. Payroll goes out Wednesdays. Like that's just the day of the week we know everything's coming out. So from Thursday through Tuesday, the account gets built up, right? We have income coming in. Every Wednesday hits, there's a giant withdrawal that happens. Tuesday or Thursday through Tuesday, it gets built back up. And that would be the biggest implementation that we did that was very, very helpful because you know what's coming out on Wednesday and you do that. You press the go button, you write the checks, whatever it is. But it saves you from the hassle of everyone thinks automatic payments coming out are the best thing ever. Up to a certain size, that was super helpful. Like I didn't want to miss a payment, right? So they would come out of my bank. But I couldn't tell you on any day, like what's coming out when, how much is going to be there on Monday. Do I have money for payroll? It was like, I hope so. Like, and if not, I'll just figure it out. And that wasn't a good enough reason for me because it was keeping me up at night. Right. Whereas now I know even if things are tight or even if ARs are way up, like I at least know, hey, if we have a giant payroll or giant payables day on Wednesday and our ARs are also super high, I can push my team to collect to make sure that those are paid. Yeah. Does that make sense? It's like
that's really good advice. That I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, I got to do that. That's genius.
The check real quick though, and no one can see my face necessarily, but my dad was our first office manager, and we had set everything up automated because he wasn't really organized. And when Gina came in and I told him what she was going to do, he was like, "You're going to remove all the automatic payments?" And he was so like alarmed and stressed. And I was like, "Yes, but you will no longer have to think or remember them because they're going to be in this. And we're still going to be prompted by them, but we are not just going to pay them whenever they tell us. We're going to pay them when we tell them," which was still on time. But that's cost controlling. That's, I would say, maybe someone would disagree. Like, that's one of the only ways you can actually like plan for the future is if you are in control of your money, period.
That's amazing. That's super cool. I think that's good advice. I know to some extent that's how we are. Like, it's, you never know when, because there are times in growth, like you're saying, you have to move money around. Like, you got to know where's money coming from. And if you get caught with your pants down because something drafted on Thursday when you thought it wasn't drafted until Tuesday, like you're in a bind at that point. And so that's just facts.
Vendors, they reach all the time and they'll give you discounts if you're on auto pay. I get it, right? And we actually kindly, like, we turn down most of the auto pays unless we can agree where we'll know it's on our radar or whatever. But we just say, nope, thank you so much. We will pay on time, but we are going to have this on our own accord. And that scares a lot of people. And if you don't have help in the office, I get it. Like, that's a very scary thing to do. Automatic payments do save you from defaulting and all that. If you have an admin or someone doing your payables or someone in charge of that stuff, I am happy to help teach you through that. It's not that intimidating. And I will say it only gets harder as you get bigger. Yeah. Like, the more your bills go up, the harder it is to transfer over. If you're sub $1 million, y'all should really change to that model. And QuickBooks makes it very simple to run that report.
QuickBooks makes it simple how to do that?
Yeah, like basically to see how much is in your like accounts payable due. Like, you can run a report. We throw it on a spreadsheet and we have it all in our own way, but there's a pretty simple way to have that done.
Well, okay, so let's make the little transition here over into forward coaching. Like, you talk about your clients and things. We haven't really mentioned it today, but mention what are you guys doing there with forward, and talk everyone in the audience through, like, maybe they want help with this, right? Getting this set up. What are you doing there? What's your coaching program set up like? Who are you looking for? What kind of businesses are you targeting to help grow?
Yeah, no, thanks for saying that. So Forward was started a little over a year ago. It's myself and Ken as well. We are a growth coaching program that we're primarily in the service industries right now. So it's not just landscaping. It's going to be all the trades, which is, it's actually really fun to cross-pollinate, across, because there's so much stuff in common there. But our goal there is to basically help to teach all of our clients through what we have learned through the highs and lows of our growth and from others, right? And to teach them that there's a way to sustainably get there without running yourself into the ground, without burning relationships, ruining your family, burning your mental health up, right? And whatnot there, while still saying, hey, like, here's a goal you have. Here's the way to get there. Here's what you're telling me you want, but here's what you're also saying you're willing to sacrifice to get there, right? And so it's taking components of like tangible, materialistic growth. Like, I want my company to 10x by this much, or I want to have this many employees, or here's my net profit goal, right? But then taking the holistic approach, like, have you considered your mental health, your physical health, your relational, your emotional, your spiritual health, and all this stuff? Like, because these things matter. It's not separate at all. Whereas when I started the business, I can put my head in boxes like most people can. Like, it's just like, all right, I'm going to open this box and work on it for 24 hours. I'm going to close that box, go back into my, relationship box and see what happens there. Like, That's just not how it works. And so we try to bring all that in to say, here's your growth plan, right? And here's what you're telling me. You don't want to be the next Patrick Murray. You don't want to be the next Jeremiah, right? Like, I don't want you to be. I want you to be yourself. But like, what do you actually want? Because most people don't even know. And so I have an awesome client that just started with us, and we start off all of our onboarding with a client intake form and then a strategic plan form. So they basically fill out this really comprehensive Google form of all these questions. And he was like, I'll be honest, I just finished and I have never seen that stuff written out before. Like, he was saying his mind, like his thoughts.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see this on paper. And when I was reading his answers, it was like the purest, it was so cool to read it. And he was like, thank you for doing that for me. And he was just able to see like where he's going, what he's doing. And dude has an awesome plan. He just never got it out on, on the paper. And now we're working through like actually taking what his brain had told me and mapping it out, like literally week by week, month by month, year by year, to say like, hey, you're telling me that by 2026 you want this. I think we can actually shrink that down, but here are the costs associated with that. Are you cool with that? And then we just go to town. So that's like the holistic like idea of our mindset coaching. And a lot of it, Jeremiah, will be people coming on and we're like, hey, writing's on the walls. It's you. Like everyone at your company is leaving routinely. I'm guessing it's not a them thing. It's a you thing. What's going on here? What are you doing for your culture? Right? Like how much are you paying them? And what do you look like when you show up to work? Like that kind of thing. But then a lot of it is us building out models. So someone coming to me saying, hey, I'm really nervous about payroll. It's been consistent that I've been struggling for the last 4 payrolls. What can I do? All right, let's implement the cash flow model, right? All right, here's how you use it. Here's a tool. I'm going to check in. There's accountability involved. So like it is tailored to every single person's need, and everyone's different and everyone goes through different seasons, right? So someone might be on top of the world this year. We're not going to talk about the cash flow model. We're not going to talk about like gross margin fears and failures there, right? We're going to say like, hey, this is working right now. Let's keep doing this. Let's go work on building your company out here. Let's talk about your second location. Let's talk about hiring your first salesperson, right? Like, and then we work on that together. But it's everything from setting metrics, accountability, giving them tools. I mean, I would say Ken and I have slightly different approaches, but it is nice because we have the same like kind of mantra and methodology behind it. But I would say it gets done the same stuff, but we try to feel through like who's more of like a nuts and bolts practical learner and who's more of someone who just needs to be kind of led along and push a little bit to then figure it out for themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's amazing. Is there a range of business you're looking for to get started, like a minimum revenue or size? Like what's your ideal client?
Yep. So ideal client would be, let me just think of the range we talked about recently. So if you're like brand new, like $0 in revenue, it is just straight up tough to coach that. Like there's just like some really small things that need to be in place. We would do some like free help there to say, hey, here's some steps to get in place. I don't really want to charge anyone who's there. But ideal businesses are anyone in like the 300K range through like 5.5 to 6 million. We do try to keep it like enough of a cushion between us and them because we want to make sure that we've been there and learned it, right? Yep. Now, people would argue and say, hey, no, you can coach a $50 million company just because your eyes from the outside. And I would just say we're just not there yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. We want to make sure that we've learned enough along our way. So 300K to 5.5, 6 million is where we'd be comfortable.
So broad range there. We'll come back to that. Circle back to team culture in this. So growing culture at Local Roots has been huge. You literally said wide open, like you have employees that love what they do. You have great employees that show up. You just have a good environment. What are some key things that you've done to build that environment along the way? I'll let you take this whatever way you want to take it. Literally incentives to pay to clothing to like, what is it that you give them that you incentivize them to come to work, show up every day, create a good culture, and enjoy what they do? From the bottom to the top, from the trimmer guy to middle management.
Yep, I love that you. That's a great question, man. And I will start with a question for everyone listening, and I would say the question is, what would the spouses of your employees say about your company? How would they describe your company? And even more, like, how would they say their spouse feels about your company? And I think some of you might be like, oh, I have no idea. But like, truly, like, if your employees, I'll just say your male employees go home, right? And they go home to their wives and they're eating dinner. What does their wife say about your company? Is it a joy for them? Is it a blessing for them? Is it an incredible experience for them? Is it a way for them to have their outlet, their creative outlet? Is it financially providing for the family? Or is it just stress? Is it a pain? Is it sucking from their family? Is it X, Y, and Z, right? Like, I think we could all pretty much answer that for individual employees. Even in my head, I'm like, oh man, yeah, there's some employees I'm like, oh, their wives would not be happy with their workload right now, right? And so that's a start, right? And then how do you get there? Oh, we would pay them more, do this. Like, I don't know, man. I used to really, in my earlier years of podcasting with people, like, oh, how's your culture so good? I'm like, you got to pay good. You got to pay good. You got to pay good. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Like, you got to pay good. But even us, like, we reached a point where, like, we can't really give too many raises right now. We're kind of top of the industry. And honestly, like, even if there's better competition out there, like, we just can't afford it right now. Like, it is what it is. Like, you limit yourself at some point when it comes to monetary stuff, right? And, like, otherwise we'd be paying, hundreds of thousands for each of our employees. It's like, I'm sorry, like, we just can't do that, right? So let's talk about like just mindset. Like, the next question I would have for everyone is like, how do your employees feel? Like, feel when they walk into your doors or they get into the truck, whatever the first moment is every day of their work? Is it, oh man, this is broken. Oh man, he looked at me this certain way. Oh man, he did this. Or are they saying like, dude, it's early, but I love coming here, man. It's awesome. Like, it's a cool environment. Like, I'm excited for this job that we're on. And again, take it with a grain of salt. Not work is work. I wake up and I'm like, oh crap, I have to go to work today, right? Like, we all are humans here. But truly, like, if you were to have a line graph, right, of every day of the year, if you could have that metric, like they hit the smiley button or the unhappy button, right? Like, how many times do they hit unhappy just because of the environment or you or the tools or the type of work or your communication style, right? Well, how many times do they hit the happy button versus the frown button? I think that would be something you're like to think about, thought exercise, maybe even do it. Like, write down John, right? Would John hit it 5 times happy this week? Like, just go through that exercise for yourself and like, I don't know, come up with an average. What is it? Is it good or bad? Those are things we really dug into. Like, how do people feel here? And it did come down to one word. It was loving. And like, do people feel loved here? Right. And they're like, oh, it's weird. Like, what are we going to do? Like, hug and kiss everyone? No. But like, are you fist bumping and like smiling and like truly telling people you appreciate them every day? Because if you are, then like they will feel that. And if you are doing that, they will go home to their spouse. And I'm not saying they're going to be the best spouse ever, but like chances are they will pass that energy on. Right. And so we saw this like effect happening. I wish I had a name for it, but like the effect happening of like when we do this, like with this downstream effect of positive like energy flow to their employees that they were leading, right? And then to their families, to then their families would come into events like on holidays, Thanksgiving, or just regular company events. They're like, ever since, I'll just say Mike, ever since Mike started here, he's just been so much happier at home. And I'm like, dude, that's a win. Like, that's so freaking cool, awesome. Yeah. He has 4 kids. And his 4 kids are getting a better dad than they were whenever he was gone. Like, that's what culture is to me, right? And culture is also like, yeah, dude's a great employee. He'll be here forever. But like, if I'm able to impact like young kids' lives through how their dad comes home from work, that should be all of our goals. Like, that's truly having a major impact in this world, right? And some practical stuff, y'all are probably like, oh, it's cool, but like, how so? Like, I mean this, like, y'all are comfortable with fist bumps, hugs, high fives, and saying this phrase, hey, I'm so happy you're here today. Hey, thanks for coming in. Hey, I really love having you on my team. Dude, have like 5 canned phrases that are like, maybe they're awkward for your face to even say, but just start saying them to your employees and repeating them and change them up a bit each day and just see what happens in your culture. See what happens if like, maybe that was the first time in a month that dude or girl ever heard, thanks for your hard work, or I'm happy to see you. Like, people don't hear that all the time at home, right? Other things, I mean, uniforms are a given. Like, if people feel like they belong to something, give them a uniform and hold them accountable. So we're khaki pants and a polo, or for our maintenance high vis now, but like, we would be very harsh. Like, if they come in jeans, hey, I'm so sorry, but you have to go home and change. Like, you're not allowed to come in with that. Like, we wear a uniform and like, this is part of our culture. Like, you belong whenever you wear that, right?
Would you actually send them home?
We did. It was awkward, dude. And even like as of recently, we had like a lapse in culture. I want to say like a year-ish ago, where we just like had changes happen. People were like, it just wasn't a great part of our time of our business, right? And like, people were coming in with like not like uniforms kind of went weird, man. Like, I'm not kidding. A year ago, uniforms went down. I'm like, we just like let it happen. We're like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, we just like, people were in like just different hoodies and stuff. And then it was midway through or early this year. I'm like, hey, Rob, my partner, we have to crack down. Like, this is not okay. It was like a simple announcement. And everyone like shaped up and did it, you know? But yeah, like in earlier years, we were sending people home and it was awkward. Like, or they'd go to Walmart, have to shop and buy khakis and come back in. But it was awkward, but it really sent the message, like, are you a part of this or not, you know?
I know we're getting like in the weeds, like
it's okay.
We're lower level on this topic, but like, this is real stuff that guys smaller in business are thinking about. Are you furnishing uniforms? Like, what do you require? If you're going to require them to be in it, are you furnishing for them? What does that look like?
Early years, I'll say early years, we would buy their boots for them. So we bought steel toe boots or whatever for our employees. And then we furnished the shirts always. Pants and shorts, like khakis, were always on them. We never like said that there'd be a certain type. Like Walmart has, I think, Dickies for $20. Like, whatever goes, doesn't matter.
Just had to be khaki.
And I would, this is a very important note. I would come like to not embarrass people. I would come and say like, hey, is there a reason why you don't have khakis on right now? Or is there a reason why you don't have boots? And like, usually be like, I can't afford it. Like, I need my paycheck, whatever. I'd say, I'm not going to fight your paycheck. I'm just going to buy you a pair of pants. Right. Yeah. And like, I would just do that. So like, be gentlemen, right? Like, do what you have to do to make it work. And or say, hey, I'll buy you a pair of boots and I'll take out $5 from your pay for the next X just to show them that they paid for it. I don't care what you do, but give them a part. But then you'll find out soon, like say you buy them 2 pair of pants and a pair of boots and the next week they're not wearing them. It's like, they just don't care. Like that's what it comes down to, right? Other things, incentives are huge. Bonus Up is a big program that we're looking into for this year. It's a pay for performance program, but anything that can tie your metrics to their metrics. I don't care how simple it is, guys. Scoreboard percentage. You hit 90 to 100% and you get $100. Like it can be super simple bonuses, but definitely incentivize what you want to see happen. Okay. It could be route efficiency. Hey, I got 80%. I'm 80% efficient on my route. Great. You get $100. Like make it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. When we had bonus systems that were overcomplicated, they never worked out. That's a big one. Events are big, but I don't want people to get hung up. I used to preach events all the time. Like, have as many events as possible, pizza parties, go out, spend a bunch of money. That's awesome stuff. We just had a super bougie Christmas party at a country club. Like that's a fantastic thing. If I did that and that was the only thing I did all year for culture, it just wouldn't matter at all. It would be such a waste of investment. But because that's the capstone event of our year and they've seen the whole year, like, hey, things are good. Things are good here. Like I'm happy to go to this party. I want to bring my family here. It actually like adds into like the whole culture along the year. But pizza parties don't build culture. Equipping your people and loving them like build culture, right? Pizza parties are like a good manifestation of how you can equip and love people, but like you can't just give them crappy tools and like put your hardscape crew on cleanups for the whole year and be like, yeah, isn't it great? They're like, I don't think you like lived up to what you promised me, man. You know, and you're like, here's a pizza. And they're like, I don't want a pizza. I want a hardscape job, right? Or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
So yeah, loving people and loving people, meeting people where they are, but then also like making them a part of the team. But I think how you act and interact with your staff, it matters so much. And like that's culture. Because now when I'm like, I don't manage any field staff at all, and I will see my managers like how they're talking to them, and I'm like, unbelievable. Like they sometimes sound just like me, and that's a really cool feeling to have. Like
that's awesome.
You're like, they actually copied me on that, and I love it. Like it's incredible, and that's through years of just doing the same shit all the time, right?
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good. That's amazing stuff. I appreciate the time that you just poured into us. Like it just is very eye opening to see that it is doable. That's the thing. Like it's just little steps here and there. Before we wrap up, what are a few KPIs, metrics that y'all are searching for? Maybe you're doing it at a higher level now to an extent. Think back early years, sub 1 million revenue. Like what are some KPIs you can be tracking aside from estimated versus actual hours? Give me something a little more than that. That guys can be tracking and putting in place, because people. You go to events, you hear KPIs and measure and look at metrics and all the things, but like for someone who's never like been in business development space, like they don't know what that means. So what does that mean on a very surface level, like entry level term?
Yep. So I will keep it super simple. I mean, one main one is going to be crew efficiency. So down to a T, right? That would be billable versus actual. She said, don't use that one. Sorry, I just copped out and use that one first. That is a very important one.
That's fine.
No, you're good. And then if I could go back, we did not track this back then, but a healthy like knowledge of your gross margin. Okay. So that is going to be your top line sales in whatever department. If you only have one department, that's fine. But we broke ours down into maintenance and construction. And then that's minus your cost of goods sold in those departments. There are super simple ways to track this and map it through QuickBooks. And that was something I reorganized a year or two ago to make sure all my categories were hitting properly. But I know which department is super profitable and which department is not. And I know projects that we have to do to help fix that, if that makes sense. But that is like, I believe, Jeremiah, a young business owner doesn't want to get in the financials super quick. And they're like, I don't have healthy books. If you don't have healthy books and you come to work with us at Forward, I'm like, I'm not going to yell at you. I'm going to say, I can't do much until you get this figured out. I can send you to an accountant to do that, or you can find your own, but here's what you need to do in order for me to give you sound advice. And a gross margin, to know your gross margin, I believe are like the keys to the kingdom for our business, because overhead is super simple. Yeah. Like it's super simple. You can cut or control that. If you are not profitable in your actual jobs, you might be working just for the sake of working and you don't even know it. right? And so that would be a huge one. And then actually sales leads. So like it would be like pipeline for the next month or two, depending on how many crews you have. But like we know we have right now 4 or 5 construction crews, right? We know how much revenue they eat up. So we know if our salespeople aren't hitting, so to make it simple, we'll just say $100,000 per crew per month, right? So if our construction teams need $500,000 per month to eat, if that makes sense, like that's what they're eating, then if we are just selling $500K every month, what do you think that means?
You're not filling a pipeline.
We're just eating for the day, right?
By, yeah.
Exactly. So I need to say, oh wow, we need to up our sales metrics or hire another salesperson or X, Y, and Z. So like the sales funnel is actually becoming a bigger and bigger number for us to focus on. So like I actually want a $1.5 million sales goal for our salespeople. I don't care how many people we have, that would give us 3 months of eating, right? And then so on and so forth. So that's like where your comfort level comes in. So sales pipeline is a very big KPI I would focus on. Maintenance is going to be a little different there.
How far out do you want to do? This is kind of this is a weird thing for you to give advice on. Just give me your answer, whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. How far out do you want to be booked?
In my ideal, so I'm like more, I'm going to be the more like frugal / like security one, right? Yeah. I want 6 months. Like I want 6 months at all times booked out, right? And I think realistically, like a 3 month build, 2 to 3 month build out is actually what clients want, really? And actually what the like we want.
What size project are we talking on that? Like, because here's my thing. So you tell a customer comes to you and they want a flower bed redo and some sod put down for, we'll say $18,000, right? Like 18 grand. You tell them you're booked out 3 months. Like,
we don't do a ton of that. So like most of our, so I need to translate that a little bit. So like that would be $100,000 to $600,000 outdoor living spaces, right? Would be in that ether.
Much better, yeah.
So maintenance, that's good. So maintenance would be actually that $18,000 sod job. Our maintenance and enhancement crews would do that, and we would kind of filter that in. We would say 1 to 2 months we would churn.
Yeah. Cool.
Is that better? Does that sound like more realistic?
That's okay. Good. Yeah, that's sorry. Good. I was like, people ain't waiting 3 months for a $18,000 little sod.
No. Like, it would be that we would throw. I don't know what our number is, our threshold. I think it's like 25,000.
Yeah.
We try to get all of our maintenance teams to do those projects. Anything 25 and up, we usually take to install. But even then, it's a juggle. Like we usually throw anything green, we'll throw back to our maintenance side, just because we try to keep install all construction.
Really? Okay. So. Oh man, we could go for so long. I got like one more question for you. 5 more minutes here, and I'll let you run.
Yep.
We're over time. When you're growing, and this is a personal question as well. We're growing crews, right? We're gonna have 2 maintenance crews in the spring. We're gonna have a landscape install crew, and I really want to have a landscape enhancement crew, right? Because I feel like we're missing out on. No joke, 60 to 100K in enhancements, just because we simply don't have the time to do them.
Yeah.
So what is your advice to guys who are out there trying to split crews, trying to grow? Like, so my thing is like, you gotta, in my head right now, I have a lawn maintenance crew. I only want lawn maintenance crew only cutting grass. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want them worrying about having to stop and trim shrubs at somebody's house. Mm-hmm. In the model that we're doing right now. Like, we're not doing full service, massive $15,000, $18,000, $20,000 a year packages. Like, we're mow, blow, and go, but we do the add-ons. We do the shrub trimmings. We do that stuff.
Yeah.
So my thought process is like, I want to get a maintenance crew, lean, mean. You're in and out. You only cut grass. We outfit your trucks with lawn maintenance tools only, and I feel like it's more scalable that way because there's less like, oh, you're supposed to do this here, you missed this, you didn't go back. So my thought process is like add an enhancement crew and put a crew that like, well, Miss Jones needs her shrub trimmed as well as her grass cut, but I don't want the maintenance crew trimming the shrubs. I just want to send the enhancement crew out there. Like, what are your thoughts on that as guys grow and reach this point? Because I know that I'm not the only one thinking this right now.
Yeah.
As we split crews.
So I'm not going to disagree with you on the mowing thing. We have crews set up that are just mow, and then in the fall they transition into other stuff, right? But like they are from
in the
from
summer,
March
you're only
on,
mowing.
we try to we really don't like them touching anything else, right? And we experiment with both bed maintenance, this and that. Wasn't good, right? We understand that. So we even tried white glove service. Oh, they're gonna mow and do this. No, it didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? It just doesn't work.
Well, that's good to hear because that's what I'm trying to avoid. Yeah.
I'm sure for some, we were not involved enough. The owners were not involved enough to be like, oh, you didn't pick that weed or do this. Like, dude, just save it for a horticulturist, right? So, but what I will challenge you, Jeremiah, and maybe some others on would be, you were like, oh, we're just the mow and blow. We don't offer those packages, blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying, why not? Or why are you okay with that? Okay.
So let me retract that statement. We offer these full packages. We offer the the pine straw, the mulch. We do all that. I'm just thinking, should we schedule it out in separate crews versus
I got you.
Trying to fit it into a maintenance schedule during the summer? Because that's where I feel like we're like a lot of guys get so busy in the summer, and you got a guy mowing and they need their shrubs trimmed. Well, then they forget to trim the shrubs, and then your schedule's all messed up. The customer's unhappy. Expectations are not being hit, and I'm like,
let me tell you how I would do this. Okay, this is how we do it right now. Okay, so we have 3 to 5 service minimum on all of our maintenance clients. We have a couple of people grandfathered in who have we just mow, right? But we have these contracts made. Residential is 12-month billing. So January 1 through December, everyone's billed that bill divided by 12. Okay, super nice cash flow. And mowing crews start on March 1 or April 1, whatever that time is. Maybe they're fumbling with or fiddling with some spring cleanups, and whatnot. But as soon as mow season starts, they don't exit that, right? This landscape enhancement crew that you're talking about, I love the idea. We have that as well. Title-wise, I think it is. Yeah, we have mow 1 through 4, enhancement 1 and 2, and I think we have like planting 1 through 3 or something like that, irrigation, lighting. So like your enhancement crews do what our enhancement crews do what you're saying, which is those full service contracts have lawn mowing, leaf removal, mulching, fall cleanup, spring cleanup, fertilization, and aeration, dethatching, and then what were you saying? Trimming, right? So enhancement crew 1 is what you're talking about. They go in March or April, whenever you're starting. They're going to say, all right, what's first? All the pruning, right? Or all the mulching, whatever your schedule is. They just crush that stuff out. Okay, so in theory, they're enhancements, but they're doing scheduled work.
Exactly.
Now, check it out. You're now selling enhancements, or they're selling enhancements, whatever. You pepper this in. Hey, we have an $18,000 saw job. Oh, great. That's awesome. We're going to throw that on when we're slow in the transition of trimming and mulching, right? Or whatever that is. Are you going to get a perfect no? Are people going to get pissed because their mulch is a little bit late? Yeah, you're going to mess some people up, right? But that landscape enhancement crew, I believe it's like if you build it, they will come. You have that. If you're selling the full service, you already have the work there. And I think because you have the landscape and installation crew and the 2 mows, if it's a 2-man crew, you can divide them up every so often. Be like, hey, just go chill out with these guys. I'm going to sell some work or get the schedule cleaned up, bring them back in. So you're talking about like a truck that might sit stagnant every so often, right?
Correct.
But dude, that landscape enhancement crew, we switched that model out a year or 2 ago, and they're awesome. Like the pruning is on its own schedule. I'm like, when are we going to be mulching? They're like, dude, we have 2 months of pruning. I'm like, 2 months of pruning? That's unbelievable. Like it's happening like a mow schedule, right?
But so here's the what I'm hitting here for you guys listening, and why I wanted to talk about this with Pat is like it's what it's eliminating is that stress of the mowing guys doing it while they're trying to mow.
Sucks.
That's what we like. We just reached our like cap last year. We had so much going on, so much to do, and we were trying to mix in shrub trimmings and additional pine straw and mulch and like in our mow crew, and it was just like it doesn't make sense. We were working so much overtime. Guys were so stressed out. We lost customers this year because of quality because we were so spread thin in that area, and it's like
the only time. In my opinion, the only time it makes sense is like end of the year. We're collecting our nuts for the winter. It's like, all right, guys, get out there, do whatever you can, help them out. Like, we're just like it's like a free
and you have more time
like,
in your schedule. You're not double cutting. Like, you got an extra hour in your day. Yeah, hit the shrubs while you're there mowing the grass, right?
And I think the biggest thing that's going to break in the business owners' brain who are listening is like, it's just not efficient. One crew on site should be able to like be a multitask or whatever. And I remember like, even when I wrote certain properties or my house, I'm like, why is the mow crew here and there? And I'm like, you know what, Pat? It's all numbers. It's all numbers. And like, I'll go on and see my house with scoreboard and like, all right, we're good. Like we're good here, right? And their efficiencies are hit. So it all comes down to math. And if the math works out, there's nothing to talk about. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what it looks like or how you feel in your chest. It's literally how the math works out.
Business is numbers. And it's just like, I sit here and think about how rigs are built. Like if I have an enhancement crew, they're just going to have the best shrub trimmers, like the best hedge trimmers, the best rakes, the best wheelbarrows, like the things that they need to go succeed. And they're not fighting through mowers and other crap to get out of the way to get that stuff. It's just like that crap adds up through the day. Those little inefficiencies.
I'd be happy to strategize with anyone on that. I love that you brought that model up. That's like, I wish I would have found that out way earlier on, because we were trying to jerry rig it so far into our business. And even like our install crews were doing shrub pruning because we like didn't know how to delegate that properly. And it's like, no, the enhancement crew is actually, I'd say, maybe your most profitable.
It's the most profitable. That's what I'm saying.
It's a sick crew, dude.
We are leaving $100,000 on the table easy. Easy,
Yep.
just because we don't have the time. We don't have the time for it because we're trying to fit in our mowing schedule. So
Sam Gamble of Atlas, he calls them snatch and grab jobs. He has a list of snatch and grab jobs that whenever the enhancement crew like loses work or whatever, he throws those on the schedule, and their credit cards are already on file. It's just like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Like he looks at it, he's like, how is this possible? Like truly, and we have yet to do that, but snatch and grab jobs, man. That's what you need to like have that schedule on Element ready to go.
Snatch and grab. I love it. Well, dude, we're over time. I appreciate it. Let everybody know where we can find you, keep up with you, and where we can get involved with Forward Coaching if you want to.
Yeah, man, for sure. I appreciate that. So it's going to be forwardcoaching.com. That's FRWRD. Coaching.com, so it's forward without the vowels. And then my email is patrick@forwardcoaching.com. Jeremiah, if you want to throw it in like the notes or whatever,
we'll put it in the show notes.
That'd be cool too. But I'd love to chat with anyone, even if you don't want to hire a coach, like, or if you want to ask what it is to hire a coach, just ping us. Let me know. I'm happy to have some dialogue on that for sure.
Yeah, what Pat doesn't know is we're starting backwards coaching. That me and Caleb Allman are going in on that, and backward coaching will be starting next month. So if you want
how to dismantle your business,
exactly. If you want info on that, just reach out and let me know. We'll put that link in the show notes as well. But we didn't get around to your Australia story. We have to do it again, buddy. I appreciate
Next time.
Appreciate the time, and do you got any final words? Anything you missed out that you want to share?
Man. No, just be real, be you, and love people. I really mean that. That's the heart of. If you hear anything, or if you don't hear anything else, just love people. I mean, that's what we all are craving, and that's what everyone needs.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. This has been a fun one. Come back and listen here on Friday for another great show that I hope you don't miss. Without any further ado, that's going to wrap this one up, and look forward to catching everybody here on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.